No assumptions and no expectations. That's the best way to approach dating because these are pretty much the two main things that trip people up. With their assumptions, people basically assume too much instead of actually learning about the other person. And this can be bad in multiple ways because it can mean that you can assume that the person is better than they actually are, or if you're more a pessimistic type, you could assume they're worse than they are and therefore lose your interest in them when maybe they actually were a decent partner for you. So try not to make any assumptions. Just take the time to get to know the other person. But also, try not to make assumptions about what the other person's intentions are or anything like that. Ask them questions and clarify things. You do not want to assume. Assuming, you know what they say? It makes an ass out of you and umption. Not me, because I'm not involved in this game. But there you go. So just try not to make too many assumptions when you're dating. Another problem that you can have with assuming too much is it can make you get really attached to specific outcomes because you're going to kind of want things to go in those directions, be it getting the other person in bed rather early on or getting a first kiss, whatever it may be. Just try not to make all these assumptions for how you want things to go before you go in. Just go in with a clear mind, pretty much. Go in with no assumptions and no expectations. And expectations are, of course, another way that people really trip themselves up. I would say this is far worse than assumptions because expectations, a lot of people have really unrealistic expectations nowadays. I mean, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I talk about this pretty often. And if you just pay attention to social media and cultural occurrences, and I should say more so cultural landscapes and the way that things are shifting over time, you're probably aware that, yeah, people in modern dating have just really horrible expectations. Their standards are pretty much too high because they expect too much from other people. They want people to be almost perfect, which you're not going to find. And I really hope with my videos I don't kind of make you guys believe you should be waiting for a perfect partner because they don't exist. I often try to say you should try to find the best you possibly can, but really, if you find people who meet, let's say, a list of 5 criteria that you have, that should be enough, especially if they have a high level of self-awareness and they have good control over their reaction to their emotions. You can have an amazing relationship with someone with just those 2 things alone. So you don't need to have these ridiculously high expectations where you want the person to be very self-aware, very emotionally mature, you want them to be happy on their own, but then on top of those 3 things, which I would say are fine on their own, then you want them to be an amazing cook, you want them to be a great dancer, you want them to be awesome with your friends, you want them to know how to play instruments, you want them to have a nice car or whatever, make a decent amount of money. That's too much. You should really have a few personality traits, should I say, that are on your list that are maybe deal breakers for you. But beyond that, everything else should just be bonus, should just be extra. You shouldn't want someone to give you all these different things, to bring all this value to the table, especially if you don't bring a similar value to the table yourself. And I don't really like using these whole like the term value, especially because so many people equate value to monetary wealth. That is the stupidest thing out there. That's why I like to say high quality versus low quality people, because I don't think money should factor in at all. Because money, some people are going to, over time, amass a lot of wealth, but they may not have it now. That doesn't mean they have no value now. That's one of the realms where I disagreed with Kevin Samuels because everything of his seemed to stem around like this high value man concept, which was all about high net value man, net worth. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think what matters far more are personality traits because those are things that can't be taken away from you. And they're usually things that can point towards someone's ability to make money over time. But that really shouldn't be the main thing you're looking for. So, in general, pay more attention to personality traits when you're looking for people. And like I said, try to keep a list of maybe 5 things max. If you go beyond that, you're heading into unicorn territory. I mean, there will be some people who probably meet your criteria, but there's going to be far and few between of them the more things you add to your list. Like, some women nowadays have like freaking shopping lists for the qualities they want in a man, whereas men are usually pretty simple. For the most part, all they really want is a woman to be attractive, because everybody wants that, right? Like everybody needs to be able to picture themselves doing naughty things in the bedroom with the people they're interested in. So that goes without saying. But then men also usually want a woman to not create a lot of drama, to basically, I've seen this thrown around a lot, and I agree, they want a woman to bring peace to his life, where when he comes home from work, there's not going to be any drama created in his life, especially because there are some people out there who really enjoy drama for whatever frickin' reason. They love creating it, so men don't want that. And really, that's about it. Like, that's all men really want. A woman they're attracted to, and for her to not create any tension or drama in his life, for her to just basically create more peace for him. I guess, and her being supportive of him as well. But that's kind of it for the most part for a lot of men out there. But women nowadays have kind of been raised on just these unrealistic expectations that maybe come from TV shows or movies like Disney. That whole Disney princess idea has probably messed women up as well. But I don't know. It's something I've noticed. So really make sure, if you want your dating process to go well, that you work on managing your assumptions and especially your expectations, because those are the two things that are going to trip you up more than almost anything else. And if you can figure those two things out, then all you really need to do beyond that is just show up and be yourself. Like, really have the courage to just be who you are, to not present a facade of yourself to try to win the other person over and make them like you, because that strategy only works so long before your true colors are revealed. So just be you. That's it. Go in with no assumptions, have very few expectations. You should be fine. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video. So I'm going to end it here before I head off into ramble territory, which I probably already did a few times. But if you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. Otherwise, throw a like and a comment on the video for the algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci.